Okay, happy Monday. I hope everyone had a lovely holiday week. And we are back to finish out the remaining few weeks of 2020. And so I'm trying something new this week, which is going live on LinkedIn and actually using a new third party streaming platform. So I am actually streaming live on LinkedIn and over on Facebook as well. So, day one, let's see what happens. And I'm so excited to come to you and be with you every morning this week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Except for Friday, I have an all day leadership event that I am coaching on Friday. So I will not be live on Friday. However, the fifth and final blind spot, which I'll be sharing with you in a few moments, I will be uploading for Friday as well. So, hi everyone. If we have not met yet, my name is Tiffany Hauser, and I am a transformational leadership coach. I am also the founder and CEO of Evolve, which is a corporate coaching, facilitating, and speaking company. So we specialize in diversity, equity, and inclusion. We also specialize in culture transformation and really supporting companies with their vision, aligning with that vision, and delivering who they are and what they want to experience through the lens of the people experience and culture. And that's kind of brings it full circle into why we specialize in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so today and over the next, the next week, every morning I'll be sharing with you the top 5 blind spots within your DEI strategy, so within your diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy, and how to begin transforming them, because 2020 has thrown us a lot of curveballs. I think we can all agree with that. And when there are curveballs, blind spots are exposed, which is great. So, when people look back at 2020, we kind of look at, the bad stuff, if you will. And really, through the work that we do here at Evolve, is when there is disruption, right? Those curveballs are disruption, that it exposes blind spots. And blind spots are what cost companies substantially, because you don't know how costly they are, because typically there are no checks and balances in place to see them. And hence, that's why they're a blind spot. And so 2020, we're looking at this year as a gift to see what is not working and what might be missing. Which is a great space to be in, as well as also seeing and identifying what has been working and what is working. And so when it comes to your diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy, the primary goal is to uncover and transform blind spots such as unconscious biases, microaggressions, the bystander experience, whether people are intervening or if they're not. And really inequities and inequalities within your processes and your organizational design. And so DEI involves your entire organization. So through Evolve, we see that as your people and your processes. So it's not just people. And most DEI strategies focus on people. It is also, which we consider who, right? Who are we dealing with? And without considering the what, how, and why, we are not tapping into the full DEI strategy and the full value and benefits that are locked into, which are blind spots in a way, which are locked into the purpose and potential of the strategy. And so these 5 blind spots I'm going to share with you this week, they impact everyone and everything in your company. And they are detrimental if they're not identified, uncovered, and transformed. Because here's the thing, you're most likely going to know these 5 blind spots. And it's one thing to know what they are, and another thing to actively engage and look to transform them. So if you were able to join us a few weeks back on our webinar, The Future of DEI, which we will be hosting again, let me look at my trusty calendar. Wow, tomorrow is December, you guys. So tomorrow, we'll be hosting that webinar again on Thursday, December 17th at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So you'll be able to jump in that again. So we talked about, looking through the lens of, it's one thing to know what's going on, and it's another thing to act and actively transform what's possible. And so, we're going to take a look at these 5 blind spots. And like I said, you will most likely know all 5, and they're easy to notice in other people. And the challenge is to also identify them within yourself. And that's why they're blind spots, right? We see this behavior, we see these patterns in other people, yet if we don't have a thriving feedback culture, we may not be able to understand or connect with, we also are experiencing these breakdowns, I'll call them, that just don't work. And the reason these 5 things don't work is really at the core of DEI is relationships. So we talked about this in our webinar as well, in the future of DEI. It's really the core of diversity, equity, and inclusion are relationships. The relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have internally with your colleagues, and then the relationship you have externally with your clients and customers, your potential clients and customers, your industry peers, vendors that you may do business with, the marketplace as a whole. Some people call that an industry. And so those 3 relationships are really at the core of DEI and really at the core of the people experience and culture within any company. And so this now is your time to seize this opportunity, because I guarantee you these blind spots have come up in your company this year, whether you've noticed it about yourself or you noticed it in your colleagues, your clients, and so forth. And when you see them, when you see these blind spots, when you're aware of them, whether it's a pattern or it's an isolated incident, you get to take a look at what's working, because they're not all bad news. They're just like, okay, that's one of those blind spots. That's a breakdown. And within any breakdown or blind spot, there's a lot of stuff that's working. So you first take a look at what's working, then you take a look at what's not working, what might be missing from either people's performance or the processy, like the way we are relating to each other. And then what's possible. We stand in a place of what's possible. And so when it comes to your DEI strategy, these blind spots affect everyone in the workplace and everything about your company. And so when you're able to identify them and start transforming them, they have the potential to elevate the people experience, the culture, and the relationship your people have externally, which is powerful. And so it also allows people to fully align with your company's culture and vision. So all the values that you stand for in your mission statement, in your vision statement, when these 5 blind spots are identified and transformed, you start to have that cohesion and that thriving culture that really skyrocket companies. Companies that have thriving cultures were not experiencing much disruption this year. They had it. They were cohesive, they were collaborative, they were communicative, they had it. Even in the wake of, standing in the social justice issues, they had their message ready because it's who they are. They already know who they are individually and collectively as an organization, as a culture. Okay, so the 5 biggest blind spots, and I will be sharing the first one today and diving into it. The 5 biggest blind spots within your DEI strategy are playing it safe, avoiding pain, looking good, being in control, and being right. And so we'll start today by looking at playing it safe. And this one is, it seems like, okay, this might be a good year, a good time to play it safe. Yet a lot of companies got to pivot this year. A lot of companies got to adjust. And depending on how agile your company is and how thriving your culture is, did that work out for you this year? Did you and your team play it safe? Like waiting for this to all go away or waiting for things to go normal? Or did you stand in, step in, lean in, whatever that may be? So playing it safe is exactly what it sounds like. It's staying within your comfort zone. And this year, 2020, was not about the comfort zone at all, which is kind of great. Because again, like I said in the beginning, this, 2020 threw us a lot of curveballs, which means we were also able to see what we could not see before. Because when we're in the comfort zone, we have the blinders on, we're in the rut, we're used to doing the same thing every day, every week, every month, so on and so forth. And so when we are playing it safe, we are committed to being in the comfort zone. And in that comfort zone, there is no creativity, there is no innovation, there is no resourcefulness, and there is very little space to pivot or be agile. And so the impact playing it safe has within those relationships with yourself, internally with your coworkers, and externally with the people you do business with, it creates anxiety at an individual level because you're committed to the comfort zone. And this year, and even any year in the workplace, we're right on the edge at the bigger points. Specifically, if you're in sales or you're an executive, you're right at the edge of the comfort zone all the time because you're looking to grow, you're looking to develop. You want revenue to go up, you want performance to go up, engagement to go up. So you're right at that edge. And when you're committed to playing it safe, there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear because you want to stay comfortable. And in a DEI space, there's a fear of not fitting in or belonging. So if you're looking to be in your comfort zone and you're looking to play it safe, you're locking in and locking up, I should say, your authenticity. So if you have a fear of belonging or fear of fitting in, you're not really going to show up as you. You're going to lean into conformity and lean into, I want to be, I want to play it safe. I don't want to ask any questions that may rock the boat. I just want to follow along my ideas. Let's just go with whoever's leading this meeting. And really, they're in this space of playing it safe, there is such a fear of failure and a lack of inspiration and motivation. So there's just no drive when you're in this space of playing it safe. You're just kind of going along with the flow, which is okay. Yet, is that people's full potential? Is that unlocking the full value of diversity, equity, and inclusion when people are playing it safe and have a fear of not fitting in and a fear of failure? And so to start transforming this, you get to take a look at, is our culture and is our communication set up to take risks? Are people okay with raising their hand, jumping in, or are you set up to evoke that from people? So if people are playing it safe, they may not, even if the culture's set up for everyone's voice counts and all ideas are great, that may not be enough for someone who's playing it safe. So you as leadership, you as someone who stands in a place of the people experience, stands in a place of the culture, is your culture and people experience set up? Are your meetings set up? Are is your door open, even your virtual door open for evoking the risk, evoking the ideas, evoking the authenticity, evoking the creativity, the innovation, all that stuff? And are you calling people forward into using their own voice? So this is where we stand in a place. Is our workplace, is our culture, is my team set up to use their voice? Or are they just sitting there quiet, listening and doing whatever I'm saying? or whatever the person next to them is saying. And really, what gets to transform here is letting people know that they are a contribution. No matter what, it's a contribution. Your ideas, your questions, all of it, your presence, right? So have you been on one of these Zoom meetings and someone doesn't have their camera on? Like, that's not being a contribution, that's playing it safe. And it ties into some other things as well. But really, are we encouraging like connection and communication? Are our meetings set up camera on? And if you're going to go a step further, is our meeting set up camera on, no mute? Because if we were sitting in a conference room or sitting in our workspace, our physical workspace, there is no mute button. And we all are here. We could hear each other. We're with each other, hearing breath, hearing like, So, and another thing is to really emphasize, like when you're standing in a space of transforming the playing it safe blind spot, to really stand in a place of feedback is neutral. So feedback, ideas, questions, it's all neutral. There are no good ideas, bad ideas. There is no good feedback, bad feedback. It's all neutral. Because once we start identifying things as good and bad, we start to feel right or wrong. And if we start to think something is bad, we're not going to, if playing it safe is in our blind spot, we aren't going to say much. And so our contribution starts to decrease. Our value we're adding to the team, to the company, starts to decrease if we are thinking things are good and bad. And really, the missing ingredient to, amplifying this and transforming this this blind spot of playing it safe is leadership. Are you evoking leadership in everyone on your team? Does everyone on your team know how valuable they are? It's not about you, the leader. It's we all are integral. I think it's integral parts of this team. We all are here for a purpose. Do we all know our purpose? Have we shared our purpose? Do we know what the collective purpose and vision is? So playing it safe, it's not like, it's not like a bad thing. And yet a lot of people experience this. And especially when we talk about inclusion, this is such a blind spot. So if you notice on your team, people are quiet, go beyond, think beyond that person is just quiet. Have some one-on-one time with that person. Ask them questions during the meeting. Have them prepare something. In fact, maybe have them lead the meeting every once in a while and see what's created there. So thank you guys so much for joining me today for this first of a 5-part series that I'll be doing every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so the first blind spot we talked about today was playing it safe. Tomorrow, we will be talking about avoiding pain. And avoiding pain in the workplace is a big one that gets to be identified and transformed. You're gonna love tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments. You could also reach out to us directly at culture@evolveeq.com, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.